What's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Brother Backtrack. This is week 2 of the series, and I hope you guys like it. So, without further ado, let's get going.
Time to play the game!
Okay, first thing up on Big Brother Backtrack. Nominations this week. Hey, Jared. Thanks, man. Alright. Nominations for this past week. It was how the episode went. That Shane was said that JoJo left and felt pretty much everyone was against him in the house, so I guess you can see the potential of that at the time. Brittany and Dan, at this point, are the only coaches with one player left, while the other two coaches have all their players. Shane wins HOH. Frank calls it a bittersweet victory because he feels, like he might go after him and more or less other things like that. Joe just said it was a buzzkill. He's not happy about it at all, so in the veto ceremony, we will see how Joe really feels. Next, Shane. His targets for the week are pretty much Janelle and Boogie's players. And Shane has a side deal with Boogie, so the proper term would be him putting up to a Janelle's player. Coming next on nomination night was the HOH reveal, the room. More or less tension in the room. Nobody's sitting there. Everybody's just sitting there. Nobody's talking. I mean, a few words spurred out, but nothing more, nothing less. Now, going further into the episode, Shane, who's HOH, became hesitant to put up Frank and like that Boogie might target him next week if, Boogie's player, one of his players won HOH, which is reasonable. Next came the coaches competition, about halfway through the show. Face Off was the first round. The most reps win. The least reps loses, but opens a locker which has a prize in it. Could be good, could be bad. The first... what is it? The first challenge in the coaches competition was the Booty Scooty 6000. Pretty much you would just like go back and forth like underneath the thing goes like that, but yeah, and the most reps won. Brittany loses and gets slapped for the week. I can't read my own writing. I'm kind of going off my notes here. So, okay, there's two players she chose for have-nots, which were Ian, who volunteers more or less, and Joe. Next challenge, the hip-to-hip extreme. When Boogie loses this competition in this round and wins 10K, he decides to keep 6,000. He could share 10,000 among his players. He keeps 6,000 for himself, gives like 3,000 to Ian, and 1,000 to Jen. Next came the Tongue Trainer Elite, which Janelle won. And Dan opens a locker and gets a sushi party. So he chooses all 4 coaches, the HOH, and Danielle. And Janelle had the power to save 1 player or trade. She saved her player, which was Will, and that was it for the coaches count. Shane then changes his plans, but towards the end of the show, he was not clear about what he's doing, but he changes his plans. And next game, they have not many for cereal and salmon. Far more in past seasons, the choices have been a lot worse. I think they're gradually pushing the menu like towards good food, I guess. Then in the nomination ceremony, Shane puts up Joe and Ashley. They're on the block. Boom. Done with that. Coming up next is the Veto competition. And we will get that underway in about 30 seconds. Give me a minute here while I prepare. Let's go. Veto competition night. Joe is absolutely pissed off at the beginning of the episode. And Brittany does not want to work with Janelle at the time. She might make a deal later if she has to, if it comes to it, she said. And Frank has the possibility of becoming a backdoor vote, which means if Shane takes somebody off the block and puts Frank up, the house votes Frank out, and it's a backdoor vote. So Janelle tells players pretty much kiss ass. Joe's just ready to explode on Shane. He's absolutely pissed. Ultimately, he didn't. He says Shane is too big of an ego and he needs to learn manners. At some point, I do agree with him there. I don't blame Joe for saying that because Shane can be a little arrogant at times, I guess. Next up, Janelle. Oh, Joe says if he's not evicted, he's gonna freaking go after Shane, try and evict him the next week if he wins HOA. But of course, there's always a little twist that has been thrown in as of last week Thursday, which is the coaches entering the game as players. I think that will be an excellent twist if it does happen. And I will have those results for you in a few minutes. The Veto player pick comes next. The HOH nominees and Danielle, Will, and Frank play. And Jen is the host for this competition. Name of the circus. Wow. I just said the name of the circus instead of the name of the game. Touche, right? Name of the game. That's it. Name of the game. It's called a BB Circus, Big Brother Circus. You roll pretty much as like a slanted thing, board kind of thing here and one here. It's kind of like playing ping pong, but you have one ball, or no, two balls. You roll one up, both of them, make sure they don't hit the ground. If one hits the ground, you're out. Well, here are the results of that. Will was the first one to get out of the competition. Joe was the second one out, which really pissed him off. I mean, he didn't go after anybody or make a big deal out of it, but he was pissed off. Frank became the third out. Danielle, succeeded by Ashley. And Shane wins the POV. Third in a row. Third week in a row. That's freaking impressive to me. I was impressed. Needless to say. Next thing, Janelle comes up to make a deal. She tries to convince them to put up Frank, and then Will and Ashley join me. She gives Brittany her wedding ring and her Chanel earrings to keep for 3 weeks in order to gain some sense of trust back. That's some bullshit. I would never offer up something like that. Are you kidding me? That's just stupid. That's supposed to gain somebody's trust? Hell no! But I think from what I saw, she did take it. I'm not a complete 100% on that, but I don't really give a damn at this point. So, Joe goes up and makes a deal with Shane. He says if he's saved, he'll take out his own team. Which was kind of weird to me because he previously said that he was going to take out Shane. So, obviously we'll see how that played out. Sushi Party comes next. Boogie owns the Japanese restaurant, which I did not know. Just quite surprised by. It's Will's B-Day, and they all play spin the bottle. Yay. So stupid. I'm so just wow. And Brittany became worried Ian will put Shane up. Because she had went up to Shane, or to Ian, when they had time alone together for a moment to talk game. And she says to Ian, are you going to put up Shane next week, or yada yada yada? And he goes, there aren't any unforeseeable circumstances in which that would happen. And of course, Brittany just wanted a straight answer, so she's not trusting Ian. So, Frank continues to push his way forward to a backdoor vote, but he wants to continue to work with Shane. Next comes the veto meeting. Interesting. Very interesting. Shane uses a veto on Ashley and puts it on Frank. Now, that is surprising. Well, one thing that's surprising to me, it just kind of seemed like he was going back on his word or something, but all things happy. Or all things happen for a reason, I guess. And then all the hats come off. Damn. You can't see. I know. I'm trying to have fun with these buttons here. I'm sorry. Alright. So Joe is not as pissed anymore. I think he was furious, as you can see. Okay, so the eviction night comes. Frank is unsure if he's safe. Danielle's happy with Shane's move, and Boogie's kind of pissed. But lo and behold, Frank comes and tells him that, you know, Shane's gonna sway the votes towards the Joe, to get Joe out of the house. That Frank's not going home, and Boogie becomes back to his normal self, not worried, just sailing along. Ian is worried because Frank is nominated, and they have to try to convince Danielle to vote for them. Then came a little interesting segment with Janelle and Brittany. Apparently Janelle has no goddamn feelings whatsoever, so God knows what will happen next. But Brittany says she can use that to her advantage, yada yada. Will, Janelle's player, is unhappy with her because he says he treats her like a child. Says she's condescending. So she confronts Will and tells him, pretty much tells Will what he needs to hear, and he says Will says he doesn't trust her a bit. And that became some interesting damn news, which I was very happy to learn about. Frank, his father, is Psycho Sid. WWE wrestler Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, pretty much. Great wrestler, Hall of Famer. So, next comes along is America's vote. If they say yes to not coach, to not coach anymore, there's no eviction for that night and the game resets. America votes yes. The coaches go into the diary room. There's a button that says reset. If one of them presses the button, the game just resets. If just one of them presses the button. Brittany goes first in the diary room and votes yes. Boogie votes no, and the rest vote yes. I was surprised. So, the whole game reset. There was no eviction for that week. And then the HOH competition. Now, unlike previous HOH competitions, Shane was able to compete as outgoing head of household because the game was reset. The game's called Walk the Plank. Pretty much, you hold on to a bar and you're on a little plank. And the thing is, you better not fall or you lose. And with that, you gotta tune in Sunday to see who finds out, or watch Big Brother After Dark, which I'm sure it will be aired on. Other than that, we will see you next Friday for another episode of Big Brother Backtrack. See you later.